Act 1. The Glitter and the Grime. Paris, the city of light. To the outside world, it's the ultimate symbol of the good life. It's the land of the 35-hour work week, state-funded vacations, and a safety net so thick, it feels like it's woven into the national DNA. It's the place where the joie de vivre, the joy of living, is not just a cultural trait, but a birthright. But look under the hood of the French Republic, and the engine is knocking. Something is fundamentally broken. Today, France isn't just dealing with a few weeks of protests, it's facing a structural, slow-motion car crash that could redefine the European model forever. From the burning trash heaps of Paris to the crumbling infrastructure of its industrial heartlands, the seams are coming apart. Today on the World Files, we're going to dismantle the French dream. Is France failing? Or is the rest of the world just finally catching up to the bill? Act 2. The Mathematics of the Social Contract. After World War II, France built a social contract based on one promise: the state will take care of you from cradle to grave. It was a beautiful idea. It created a society with lower inequality and higher life satisfaction than almost anywhere else on Earth. But in 2026, the demographics have turned into a weapon aimed at the state budget. In the 1960s, you had 4 workers paying for every one retiree. Today, we're down to 1.7 workers for every pensioner. The math doesn't just stop working, it starts eating the country alive. When you spend 58% of your entire national output on public services, you don't have much left to compete with the silicon-fueled juggernauts of the US or the manufacturing might of China. You become a luxury museum of a country, beautiful to visit, but increasingly impossible to operate. The reality is simple. France is trying to run a 21st century marathon in 1970s shoes, and the soles are completely worn out. Act 3. The duality of the French economy. To understand the crisis, we have to look at the two Frances. On one hand, you have the giants, LVMH, Airbus, Total Energies. These are global titans that dominate their sectors. They bring in billions, but they are islands of wealth in an ocean of state dependency. The vast majority of the French economy is anchored by small to medium enterprises that are being crushed by the weight of the social state. Every time a small business owner hires someone, they aren't just paying a salary, they are paying a massive surcharge for Social Security, health insurance, and labor protections. It acts like a tax on hiring. This has created a dead zone for innovation. Companies stay small because growing means falling into a trap of regulatory and financial burdens. It's an economy that is structurally allergic to scale. Act 4. The brain drain and the banlieues. Here's where the story gets darker. If you're a brilliant software engineer or an ambitious entrepreneur in France, you have 2 choices. Stay and watch the state take 50% of your earnings to fund a failing system, or leave. It's a quiet exodus, a brain drain that's hollowed out the French innovation sector. Meanwhile, in the banlieues, the sprawling concrete housing projects on the outskirts of Paris, a different kind of frustration is brewing. You have high unemployment, a sense of alienation, and a feeling that the French dream never even applied to them. When the economy stalls, these divisions don't heal, they harden. The social contract was meant to ensure equality, but instead, it has created a deep structural divide between those inside the system and those left on the margins. The system isn't just failing to grow, it is failing to include. Act 5. The macroeconomic paradox. Let's look closer at the numbers, the ones that don't make the headlines. France is a paradoxical beast. It suffers from a chronic productivity gap. Why? Because the system is designed to preserve, not to innovate. When you incentivize early retirement, you aren't just taking people out of the workforce, you're taking the wisdom out of the workforce. You're creating an economy that prizes stability over growth. And in a world where global superpowers are racing for AI supremacy and energy independence, stability is just another word for stagnation. Germany is watching. Italy is watching. The entire Eurozone is tethered to a French engine that's starting to sputter. If the French welfare state collapses, it won't just be an internal French crisis. It will trigger a massive debt rating downgrade across the Eurozone, potentially forcing the European Central Bank into a corner they can't escape from. Act 6. The Chains of the Past. Enter Emmanuel Macron. He's the guy who tried to pull the emergency brake. When he pushed the retirement age from 62 to 64, he wasn't just changing a number, he was attacking a holy relic of the French identity. The streets erupted. To the French, this isn't just about retirement, it's about the soul of the country. It's about the right to not be a slave to the market. But here's the uncomfortable truth that neither the politicians nor the protesters want to admit. The 20th century model of high tax, high service stability cannot survive the 21st century reality of global competition. The state is running out of other people's money, and as the central bank prints more to cover the gaps, inflation starts to eat away at the very social benefits the people are protesting to save. It's a vicious circle of economic irony. Act 7. The geopolitical U-turn. France is also facing a global reckoning. For decades, they played the role of the independent power, balancing between the US and the East. But as the world fractures into trade blocs, France is finding that its traditional middle ground diplomacy is becoming a liability. They are finding themselves squeezed. They need American defense, they need Chinese investment, and they need German fiscal cooperation. But they have less and less to offer in return. The grandeur of France is being tested by the reality of a smaller, leaner, and more aggressive global marketplace. Can France regain its influence without a strong internal economy? The answer, increasingly, seems to be a hard no. Act 8. Conclusion. The final choice. France is stuck in a paradox. It's an intellectual giant trying to survive on the operating system of a bygone era. They have to choose: adapt and lose the identity that makes them French, or keep the identity and watch the economy slide into obsolescence. This isn't just about pensions anymore. It's about the economic survival of an entire civilization. Can the European Union sustain its status if its economic backbone is breaking? We are witnessing the end of an era, and the questions are getting harder to answer. The French dream was a beautiful experiment in human dignity, but the test is over, and the results are on the table. So, what's your take? Is this the inevitable end of the welfare state, or just a rough patch in a history that's survived far worse? Drop a comment below. I want to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to hit subscribe. We've got more files to open. Stay in pursuit of the truth.